He has served as the University Park Undergraduate Association First Chair of Outreach and currently serves as the organization speaker. Today, he will be talking about bettering student life for international students. Please help me welcome Bhavin Shah.
Every single day at Penn State, you'll hear someone say, "We are." Most Penn Staters know the great story of Wally Triplett and the 1948 Penn State football team being ahead of its time when they said, "We play all or none. We are all Penn State." But do you ever stop and think about if international students feel that this applies to them as well? Hi everyone, my name is Bhavin Shah, and I'll be speaking about Penn State's most often forgotten about community, international students. For me, my interest in this topic peaked when I was the chair of outreach for the University Park Undergraduate Association, which is Penn State's student government, also known as UPUA. I constantly saw the international student community without a seat at the table. I personally don't appreciate hypocrisy, so while I'm not an international student, I've grown tired of seeing organizations and offices at this university claiming to be champions of diversity and inclusion, failing to look out for our fellow Penn Staters from across the world. So just for some background information, around 9 to 10% of the population of Penn State are actually international students. And that's around 7,000 individuals across the Commonwealth. Yet, they're also nearly always forgotten about, not just by the administration, but by their peers as well. International students are also constantly ostracized and left on their own even by the university's administration. I have personally seen the Paul Robeson Cultural Center, the PRCC for short, the hub for inclusivity on campus, forget about international students in the past. Until January of 2018, International Student Council did not have a seat at the table on the PRCC's liaison board. This board features organizations like UPUA and some of the organizations that fall underneath the 3 multicultural caucuses at Penn State. All these organizations are seen as the stakeholders for the center. And it's truly shocking, it was really shocking for me to see International Student Council left out. Obviously, once it was pointed out, it was rather quickly dealt with, but it speaks volumes to the culture that's deeply embedded at this university. Even in meetings with the Office of Educational Equity, International Student Council was not invited to meetings pertaining to underrepresented communities until, once again, that oversight was pointed out. I can keep giving examples about this, but to be honest, I'd rather spend time talking about why the culture needs to change and what we can actually do to make that happen. In the current dogmatic landscape across the country, universities have seen dramatic decreases in international student enrollment and in applications. This means that we are losing so many incredible would-be Penn Staters. We ought to be selecting the best of the best to continue to be the best of the best when it comes to higher education and research, which means we need the strongest possible candidate pool we can get. Penn State needs to take active steps to reignite a revival of inclusivity so that our university stands out above all others for students from varying backgrounds. When my cousins from India were applying to graduate school in America, the first thing that they did was they reached out to their friends that were undergrad, that they went to school in India with, that are now in the States, that have gone through the process of applying to colleges. They asked for their perspective on where they should apply and what they thought about America at every college they visited. This is just another reason why it's so important that all students at Penn State feel welcome and included. The best-selling author and expert on inclusion strategy, Verna Myers, once said, "Diversity is inviting people to the party, but inclusivity is asking them to dance." It's time for the Penn State community and the administration to ask international students to dance with them. They can start by bringing International Student Council into the focus groups that UPUA and the 3 multicultural caucuses are always invited to. They already exist. When international students are in these conversations, good things always seem to happen. The best example I personally know of is the pre-arrival working group partnership between global programs and student orientation and transition programs. With the help of the Chinese Students and Scholars Association and UPUA, this group was able to create modules to help incoming first-year students schedule classes over the summer alongside incoming domestic students. Without international student input, this initiative just would not have been possible. Changing the culture surrounding Penn State and how international students are treated needs to start by identifying the key stakeholders that have the ability to create beneficial change. Everyone has a part to do in this. International Student Council has to step up to the plate and continue to advocate on behalf of the folks they represent. They need to keep applying pressure on the university to adopt ideas and initiatives they know will truly make this university a more inclusive home for everyone. They need to also work to fill the spots on the boards and the organizations and the focus groups they've already been invited to. UPUA can help improve the culture by continuing its work on several of their initiatives specifically geared to assist international students. UPUA's Outreach Committee and International Student Council are currently working on a mentorship program called Penn State PALS that would pair newly accepted international students with current students, both foreign and domestic. This will help to assist in bridging that gap and ensuring that these students have the opportunity to build a friendship with someone that has a very, very different life. These mentorships will help the mentees adjust to life in a brand new country, and not to mention for the mentor, it exposes them to new cultures and ideas, which is what college is supposed to be about. Student Affairs, on the other hand, can continue its work on cultural competency training to ensure that the staff at the university understand the importance of cultural differences and how to effectively appreciate them. Ultimately, there are plenty of other initiatives that I'm sure the next year of UPUA and Student Affairs will be sure to tackle, but it's on each individual Penn Stater to take part in ensuring a truly inclusive environment. Every time a student leader is in a meeting, they need to ensure that they understand the international student perspective. Every time the Office of Educational Equity reaches out to the caucuses, every single person in that room needs to make sure that at the very least, International Student Council was communicated with. Every time you have the chance to engage in meaningful conversation, you need to take advantage. Every time you see an event in the hub or an organization tabling, you should stop by, even if it's just for a few minutes. Only then can you understand what it's like to be in the shoes of an international student. It is time for the Penn State community to follow in the footsteps of those who came before us, stand with international students, and say, we are all Penn State. We play all or none.